Hi everyone, this is my first video related to the concept of biology, and our first topic is related to the leaf of the plant. So let's have a brief introduction to the leaf. The leaf is the most effective part of the plant for the process of photosynthesis, and let's notice all the times, and they will become the source, or let's say the production line of the plants on summer, since in spring new leaves are being produced. So the root is going to be the source, or let's say the production line. But in the summer, however, in the summer, since those new leaves are becoming mature, so they could be able to photosynthesis. Those new leaves that are being matured, they could be able to photosynthesis. So the source of the plants from that time onwards is going to be the leaf, the source, or let's say the production line. Because the new leaves are becoming mature and are capable enough in order to produce and take a part of the production line, or let's say to make carbohydrates. The polyzyte layer is a layer in the leaf which contains the highest amount of chloroplast. So let's say, because the process of photosynthesis depends on the chlorophyll, depends on the quantity, or let's say depends on the amount of the chlorophyll, or let's say the chloroplast, the polyzyte layer is the most effective part of the process of photosynthesis. A leaf is a factory for making carbohydrates, which is related to the concept of photosynthesis. So as you can see, this is the structure of a leaf. As you can see, this is the longitudinal section from the leaf. The first layer epidermis, underside of it, polyzyte mesophyll, and then spongy mesophyll, which is contained by many air spaces, and also the vein, or let's say the vascular bundles, consisting by xylem and phloem, and also the underside guard cells, lower side stomata, for related to the concept of gas concentration, water vapor, oxygen, and CO2, or let's say carbon dioxide. So let's have a brief introduction, and let's have a brief definition about each part of this amazing structure. So what is the epidermis? Let's say we have an upper epidermis and a lower epidermis. Epidermis is the outer layer of the leaf, which protects the leaf from the outside damage. So let's notice that epidermis is the protective layer of the leaf. And they are completely transparent, and this means that the sun can pass through it easily. So this epidermis, this outer layer, is not going to prevent the sunlight in order to enter the plant and reach the chloroplasts occurring and existing in the polyzyte mesophyll or spongy mesophyll in order to make or convert those sunlight entering the plant to chemical energy like carbohydrates. So it's not going to prevent photosynthesis, this layer. And also the surface of many leaves is covered with a waxy cuticle that is secreted in the epidermis. And now what is cuticle? Cuticle is the waxy water-repelling part of the leaf, which prevents transpiration. And as you know, transpiration is the loss of water from the plant. The cuticle is generally thicker on plants in the places which is really dry. The environment is really dry. Because in dry environments, the rate of humidity decreases, which causes the rate of the transpiration to increase. And also the rate of temperature increases in dry environments, which also causes the rate of transpiration, or let's say the process of losing the water increases. So this means that the cuticle is going to be much thicker in the dry environments, because the dry environments need a thicker cuticle in order to prevent the loss of water from the plant. So let's notice that cuticle is the water repelling part of the plant, which do not let the water to become evaporated, to become water vapor, and in order to be lost from the plant. And also let's notice that In the morning, the water vapor, or let's say the water, can be evaporated much easier. Since, as you know, the stomata and the guard cells that we are going to talk about it a moment later. So we notice that these guard cells, they are placed in the upper side and the lower side of the plant. So when the sunlight is going to cause this water to be evaporated, and when these stomata are open in the morning, so this makes the water to be evaporated much easier. And also stoma, or let's say the plural form of it, stomata, is the opening and the closing part of the leaf, where water vapor and the other gases, for example O2 or CO2, carbon dioxide or oxygen, leave and enter the plant according to their concentration in and outside the plant. Stomata are formed by two guard cells that regulate the opening and the closing of the pore. Generally, most of the stomata are being placed on the lower side of the leaf. And why? Because since if they are going to be on the top of the leaf, the light intensity affects it and makes the rate of transpiration to rise. So as I said before, as I said a moment ago, that's when in the morning, when we can see the sun with our naked eye, it is noticeable. So we know that when these guard cells are open, these guard cells or these stomata are open, so the water vapor can be lost from the plant much easier. So let's say, and that's the main reason that these stomata are being placed in the lower side. Most of them are being placed in the lower side of the leaf. And why? Because the light intensity is going to enter the plant from the upper side of the leaf, because the upper surface of the leaf is exactly underside of the sun, is in front of the sun, but not the lower side of it. That's why most of the stomata, most of the guard cells are being placed, are growing in the lower side of the leaf. So the light intensity is not going to affect it too much. So the rate of transpiration is not going to increase a lot. So, and also another parts of the plant, for example, vascular bundles, or let's say veins. These vascular bundles, including xylem and phloem, water and minerals via xylem, and also food and energy, and also, for example, sucrose, amino acids, and other kinds of nutrients coming from the soil via phloem, through the leaf and on the rest of the plant. Polyzyte mesophyll layer. As you know, as I said before, this layer is the most effective part of the process of photosynthesis. This is the layer consisting plenty of chloroplasts, as I said before, which is located under the upper side epidermis. They convert the sunlight into usable chemical energy for the plant. And also spongy mesophyll, this layer is located underside the polyzyte layer, which contains some chloroplasts, and also it has irregularly shaped cells with many air spaces. So don't forget this. Spongy mesophyll, they are called spongy, and the common reason for it is because they have plenty of air spaces. They consist plenty of air spaces. Spongy mesophyll cells communicate with the guard cells and stomata about the concentration of each type of gas in and outside the plant, causing them to open or close by using their guard cells. So let's say, and why we need, why they are going to communicate with each other related to the concept of concentration. This is because, as you know, the diffusion happens from the high concentration area to the low concentration area. But the active transport happens from the low concentration area to the high concentration area, which in this case we are only talking about the concept of diffusion, which the concentration is going to be transported from the high concentration area to the low concentration area. For example, if whenever in the spongy mesophyll cells, in the air spaces, there is going to be more oxygen atoms in the plant compared to the outside of the plant, so the oxygen cannot enter the plant. It has to be released And also this is the exact same thing for carbon dioxide. For example, we need carbon dioxide in order to produce those chemical energies, and also oxygen as a byproduct in the process of photosynthesis. So when the concentration of carbon dioxide is higher inside the cell, inside those air spaces, compared to the outside, to the worldwide outside, so let's say to the air spaces beside the guard cells, so the diffusion cannot happen from outside of the plant to the plant, since the diffusion is from the high concentration area into the low concentration area. So in this case, the carbon dioxide molecules are going to be released from the plants. However, in some cases, or let's say in most of the cases, the guard cells and the spongy mesophyll cells are all the times preventing this process. They do not want to release any carbon dioxide. They want to use all of their carbon dioxide in order to produce a highest quantity of the chemical energies, for example, carbohydrates, in order to be stored as starch, so they can use it later whenever they want to. So this is the case, and so let's remember this all the times, that spongy mesophyll cells are all the times, frequently they are communicating with the guard cells about the concentration of each type of gas in and outside the plant, causing them to open or close. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And if you haven't turned on the bell yet, please do it. So see you in our next video.